Hey guys, how you doing? Today I want to talk to you about like my absolute favorite experiment that I've ever heard of, my favorite social experiment I've ever heard of, other than maybe that crazy one where they had people in jail in that classroom or whatever the heck they did. But this one was done a few years ago at the University of California, Irvine, and it involved the game of Monopoly. And I love the game of Monopoly. It's super intense. It's the only time you'll ever see me kind of snap. And that's why I don't really play it that much anymore. But um, so anyway, the experiment was, let's give one of the players an advantage and see, how it all plays out. And I think it's very interesting, the results. So, I mean, maybe we'll put a link up on the article, but I'll just kind of tell you briefly what happened. And then I'll read a transcript from sort of the first question that was asked of the guy that set up the experiment. So, two random people came in to play Monopoly against each other, and they flipped a coin before the game started. And the person that won the coin flip got a significant advantage in the game. If you've never played Monopoly, you might not understand, but if you have, then you'll fully understand how big of an advantage this is. The player that won the coin flip got twice as much money to start. They got to roll two dice instead of one, so the losing player only got to move around the board half as fast. And when they passed go, they got $200 compared to the losing player who only got $100. So this is obviously a very clear example of having an advantage in the game. And you would think that. And if I was playing that game, I would think that I would sort of feel bad even starting out, being like, there's absolutely no chance that you're going to be able to beat me in this game. And that's what they thought was going to happen. But the exact opposite happened once they started playing the game. And it became very evident very early that the people that had the advantage were actually playing the game and starting to get more confident, more cocky, and ruder as they were playing along. And the person that was losing obviously just kind of shoveled into themselves and were like, I don't really know what to do. I'm obviously losing for a reason. But the person that won never talked about how they had an advantage when they won, and instead they actually spoke about the things that they did that made them more successful in the game. And I mean, I think it can obviously be true to the world as well. Whereas, somebody with an advantage may think that, they did all of these things and they didn't have an advantage compared to somebody less fortunate. And I think that's obviously, part of the game. So I'm just going to read in the first thing so you can kind of get an understanding of what they were talking about and what they saw. So the interviewer asked, so here are these players, one of them doing well because of a flip of a coin, the other one not doing well. And what happens to the players doing better? It kind of goes to their head. Yeah, I think what was notable was that within just a couple of minutes, dynamics started to crystallize. The rich players start to take up more space at the table, so they actually take on a more physically dominant posture. They start making more noise. They start banging the table louder with their pieces as they move around. And over the course of the 15 minutes, one of the things that we noticed is that they actually became ruder in their behavior. So one possibility is that rich players are kind of embarrassed by the situation, doing what they can do to help out this other person who undeservedly is a poor player. And that's actually the opposite of what we found. The rich player became ruder, became less sensitive to the plight of the other player. They started eating more pretzels and did so in a ruder fashion. We had a bowl of pretzels positioned on the table as another way of watching dominance in our rich players. They start showcasing their property, their wealth, sort of exhibiting how well they're doing. So across all these different indexes, we found that rich players, despite winning the game through a really very little effort because of the coin flip that went their way, they still act as if they deserve to win and that the poor player deserved to lose. So I guess my only question is there any chance that this could ring true in the real world when people that have advantages or have more means can look at people that don't and say that they played that game so much better? Or was there an element of luck involved? And I think the answer is obviously success only comes to people that deserve it.